I left off from a video talking about growing up in LA when I was in elementary school. Then eventually I ended up in Pico and Western, somewhere in that area. I believe it was 12th Street, near El Cholo's restaurant down the street. So I ended up in that area for a while. And during that time, just trying to grow up, trying to see who I was. It was difficult having no siblings that were older than me or cousins, any family that was directly around me. So I tried becoming I believe '86 that movie Trasher came out. So I was all into it and tried doing that, but we couldn't afford a skateboard. So I had a cheap skateboard from the swap meet. So couldn't do a lot of stuff with that. I mean, I tried, but I wasn't really skillful in skateboarding. So eventually we're living there and the same thing. I think at one time my brother and sister's dad was in the picture. Now we're living together for a while. But that's when I remember my whole family visiting me, the ones I have that are part of my mom's. And my dad's family I never met because I don't even know who my dad is. My mom told me it was some guy she was with him when I was the first 2-3 years. And that's his name is on my birth certificate. But throughout time, I found out he wasn't my dad. Some guy from Mexico. So, named Lupe Rodriguez. And one of the reasons why I know that is because my aunt told me he wasn't my dad before she passed away. And when I met him once in LA somewhere, and Slauson in Vermont. And then he came and greeted me. And I was like, greeted me, shook my hand, talked to me. And I was like, as soon as we were done with the conversation, I told my mom, hey man, that ain't my dad, Mom. I said, dads don't act like that. And she smiled and we keep going about our day. So that's the only time I seen him, when I was in elementary, around 4th, 5th grade, somewhere right there. After that, I never seen him again. And so we're living now. I'm entering the 7th grade. I ended up in Mount Vernon, which is right there on 9 and Crenshaw, somewhere over there. So it's between Washington and Venice. So I end up there in Mount Vernon, and we end up living there for a while around that 12th Street and Western, I believe. So we're there. Then we're there for a short time. But one reason why I remember that place is because my whole family came from Van Nuys, Canoa Park. They were living at that time. So then they came down, and then they were all there. We had a little gathering, so I was happy. I was like, oh shit, my whole family's here. And people, I haven't seen them. But the reason was because down the street from us, there was a coyote, like a safe house. So every time they brought people across the border, they held them at this house, safe house. And when they got their money, they would release the people. So some of my cousins during that time crossed over. So it had to be 87, 86, 1986, 87. So then I believe it was that somewhere late 80s. So then they came down, and I remember that they were just waiting. Everybody was just waiting there for them to get released. And people get the money together and pay the fine. Pay the ransom fee, I'll call it. I don't know what's the proper name. So then we're living there. Then we ended up living on Hauser and Pico. But Okie Dog is a restaurant there. Okie Dog. And I started going to 7th grade. I still kept good grades. Was involved in every activity you could think of. I mean, as far as school, I used to be a big nerd. I wish I would have stayed like that. Would have been a big nerd. I would have embraced that and kept pushing and kept on the books. But it was peer pressure that my glasses and I was a nerd and all that. I wanted to be cool. Especially the people that were around me. Nobody was like me. I was the only nerdy kid around everybody. Everybody else was supposedly tough, you know, tough guys. Everybody around me. So that was me entering the 7th grade. So I was in that area, Hauser and Pico. All right.